People who have experience with psychedelics might want to do preparation sessions where we do things like dive into their past and their present. What are the patterns and habits that you're dealing with now, and how are those two things connected? Bringing those things out tends to do one of two things usually. They might bring those things up in the journey, and sometimes they might clear them out of the way, because psychedelics want to go to the first thing that's sort of tapping on the back of your consciousness.
Yeah, so you're kind of bringing it up and kind of clearing it so it can go to a deeper layer.
Exactly. It's not just sitting there. They've spoken it, it's out of the way, and sometimes things go a little bit deeper.
Got you.
And then I work with people after an experience, and those might be people who contact me because they're in some sort of acute state. They might have had a bad experience, they're having panic attacks, or feeling ungrounded, or like they can't relate to people. Sometimes helping put context around that, talking about their experience and talking about what the lesson was in that will help them quite a bit. Sometimes I have to refer those people to a therapist if they're really suffering badly. Within the psychedelics you generally hear about these days, there is Mdma, which is not technically a hallucinogen, it's an empathogen, it's a heart opener.
Yes.
But Mdma is very good for helping people address trauma. So the reason it's so successfully being used to treat PTSD in the MAP studies is that it allows people to re-experience a traumatic event without thinking that they're still there. This is the problem with PTSD. When someone starts talking about what happened or some traumatizing trigger event happens, it's just like they're there again.
Yeah.
Panic attacks, increased heart rate, it just feels like you're still there. Mdma allows someone to see that kind of experience and realize that this is now and that was then, and sort of let go of the trauma physically and psychologically. Interesting.
So it has this new association, right?
Yes.
So
helps you reframe,
detach, change all those anchors and those assimilations, the triggers that are there, and now you have a new association to something more positive, more pleasant, less traumatic.
Yeah, and it also helps you see events from your past in a different light. People often say things like, well, now I get my mom, or I see why I was doing that, or I don't feel guilty about this anymore. It helps you step back and see things.
Now, when, just going back to my party days of using MDMA just for, having fun and going dancing, because it gives that body euphoria, it is that heart opener. So is there like different techniques that you would have, or different like assignments that people would look at or explore during MDMA? Because I don't think that, at least myself personally, using it, I don't know that I would go back to a trauma incident while on it, not unless guided there.
Well, a lot of people say that about things like mushrooms, MDMA. I did it when I was in college, but I don't get what this therapeutic use is. When you step out of the subject-object experience, that is, I'm talking to people, I'm talking to you right now, there are a million things going on. There are subconscious processes that go into my just hearing, understanding, and storing the words that you're telling me.
Yeah.
I have to remember that I'm a person in the world, and this is a room, and there's a camera, and these are the words that we use, and this is how I sit. All of that's going on in my head. The second that you cut yourself off sensorially and you put on eye shades and headphones, all of that disappears, and you have an internal experience. So MDMA in a club and MDMA while laying down listening to a playlist with eye shades on are two completely different animals.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Yeah. Because it's like it would have to be a different experience, because that drug in itself. So so this would be, you would recommend the person when they're using MDMA, or how done in a therapeutic sense, is playlist, headphones, eye mask, kind of like a deprivation tank for them to turn inside.
Yeah, it creates an internal experience, which is your own thoughts, your own memories. And then, there are qualities to music. For instance, music has been shown in studies to promote the movement of information from the part of your brain that stores memory to the part of your brain that creates pictures and movies. Yeah. So you have a mechanism within psychedelics that actually takes your memories and creates them into pictures and stories and movies for you. Because psychedelics communicate with us in some very novel, unusual ways. They can't just tell us something. Like, if I don't think I deserve love, everyone in the world can tell me that I do, but I've already built up a defense against that. I can't hear it. Yeah. So psychedelics will sometimes tell me a story, they'll play a song, they'll let me see something from my life from an attached perspective. Sometimes they might frighten me. They might play games or simulations with me.
Interesting. Okay. And then what about, what's the next one?
Some of the most popular ones, you hear a lot about ayahuasca, of course. Okay. People going to Peru, and there are actually probably 1 or 2 ayahuasca ceremonies in Los Angeles, believe it or not, that happen.
Oh, more than that. 1 to 2 on any given night.